Okay, everybody, we're now going to have a quick look at forms. What I'm going to do is to just take a look in the Office 365 account at forms, and I'm going to show you how they can be used in different ways for educational purposes. And we will look at how they function and how you can share them. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just dip into the Office 365 account, and we're on the Forms application. I've just opened that, and you can see the basic lookout of your Forms page. So every form that you have created in your account will appear on the screen. Recently used ones show along the top as tiles. If anyone shares anything with you, then it will appear with shared with me, and you can also choose to pin favourites to the pinned menu, so you can easily access forms that you're using regularly. You can click on all my forms to see all the forms that you've got, and also you can see at the bottom the groups that you belong to. These might be classes or logical teams within the colleges that you're members of. And you can see how many forms have been created within here. So I have one form created in my geography class. So you just notice these two forms that I've got at the top here, the Rainforest application. One's got my initials BJD and the other one's got Tablet Academy CPD in brackets. It's the same form. It's just that one I shared with myself from another account. So it could be another teacher has shared a form with you, and I'll show you how to share forms. But what I've done is copied that and renamed it so that it belongs to me and is one of my own forms. So the shared with me version is sitting under shared with me, and recent is part of my my current forms list. So you can share forms across. So let's just open up a form and take a look at what a form could be. So this is a quiz on photosynthesis and plant adaptation. And so firstly, if you want to just make your forms look a bit flash, because otherwise they just look like this down the middle with a plain background, you can select themes and add different themes on into your presentation. And you can add a photograph into the background if you so wish and don't want to use one of the pre-prepared themes. So we'll take that off. If you want to see what the form would look like when the students or anyone else receiving it looks like, you can click preview, and that will give you the view, and you can see what it looks like on a computer, and you can also have a look at what it would look like on a mobile device. So it gives you a sense that you could complete these forms on any device. So as the originator of the form, you've got two views here. You've got questions, and I can edit edit this form simply by clicking on any of the questions. I can change the text, or I could click and add media, a video or a picture to this particular question. So, for example, you could have a video, ask the students to watch that video, and then ask them a question on it. So this is your view of the quiz that you've created, and then the other tab is showing you the responses. So once you share your form with other people and they start putting their responses in, they will come live back into this view, and you will be able to see the responses both graphically and for the whole group, and then you can click on view results and you can see individual responses. If you've got all your responses back from your class and you want to export the results, you can click open in Excel, and the results will export into an Excel spreadsheet, which means that you can then import them into other assessment management tools. So as the owner, your questions are here. All the responses come from others, are shown under the responses tab. Okay, so you can see the questions, and there are different types of questions that you can have. So here we've got a simple multiple choice question with a yes and no answer. I'll show you how to create these in a minute. Here we've got a text answer, and we've got some multiple choice answers in here where they can select different boxes and so on. And this is a question with an image embedded on it, and they do their multiple choice. So you can also do ratings. There's a star option within there. You can break your form up into different sections. In this case, I haven't done so. It's one complete form. Once you have your form complete, then the next thing you'll want to do is to share it. So you click share, and it brings up this side menu, and you've got some options here. So the first thing you can do is to restrict the form to people in your organisation. So if you only want it to be accessible and answered by people who are within your domain, then select that option. Then if the link is shared with someone beyond your domain and they try to answer the question, their email won't be recognised, they won't be able to complete it. So that just stops the kind of hemorrhaging of links outside, and then other young people messing around with your quizzes. If you're happy to share with anyone, then anyone with the link can respond. You can just share the link, and this way you can survey beyond your organisation. So we'll do that. And you can see that you've got a link here. You copy the link, paste it into your email or your post, however you're going to share it. And then when the person clicks on that email, they will see the form pop up. There are some other options underneath. So you can create a QR code. So some schools and colleges might decide to have a QR code up on the screen at the start of the session, and all the students use their mobile device to scan the QR code and get straight into the form without any further instruction. Similarly, you could paste that into documents, and then students could bob out of a Word document, say into a form. You can embed it. So if you wanted some code to embed on a web page, you can do it that way, or you can email it directly out there. Most people just tend to copy the link and share the link. Now you've got two other options for sharing. So the first is to get a link to duplicate. So this is what I did with my original, which was in another Office 365 tenant. So I clicked on get a link to duplicate, copy, and then if you paste that link when you're opening Office 365 in your new account, it will actually open that up and give you ownership of the document with the option to duplicate it. So you can rename it, create a copy of the original form, and then you can edit it and use it in any way that you want. So this is a good way, share as a template, if you want to share forms with your colleagues, or if you want to share it between different Office 365 tenants. So share as a template. The other thing you might want to do is to just share for someone to collaborate with you. So it might be that you and a colleague are working together on a quiz or an assessment, and you want to both be able to edit it. By using this option, and again you can restrict it to people in your organisation or specific individuals, you can copy, and by pasting that link in, that will give you editing rights to the document, but it doesn't transfer the ownership of the document to you. It just means you can edit the other person's form. So that's a quick look at what forms looks like once you create a questionnaire, and the ability to share that. Let's just take a quick look at a very simple form that as it might appear to students. So here is a simple telling the time form, and we can complete this one. So you see that the recipient doesn't have the two tabs, so they can't edit this and they can't see other people's responses. So we've got the picture clock, so this is simple telling the time one, and this is actually a branching database. So I'll show you how you can add branched questions. Sorry, this is just running a little bit slow loading the next clock. So let's, instead of waiting for the image to appear, I'll just click, and you can see I've deliberately typed in the wrong answer here, and it's taken me to another question that says take a look at this picture and try answering that question again. And it's giving me the option to try again or to move on. And if I click try again, it reopens the question for me to look at. Sorry that the clock's not coming through quickly there. So it's possible not only to do straightforward quizzes and surveys, but to build in loops using the branching facility. And in that way, you've got kind of adaptive assessment. And there's a course on the Microsoft Educator site on using forms to create adaptive assessments. In that way, you can block students from moving on until they've got the right answer, or you can divert them onto different tracks depending on the answers that they're given. So let's go back to forms, which I do just by clicking on forms at the top. Takes me back to my home page, and here's a form that I've started but haven't done anything with. So this is how you build a form, and it's simply following the add new and then the options that it gives you. So if I click add new, I've got a range of question choices, and I've got a drop down menu with some extra options on. So I just want to create a choice question. I can create the question and I can type the answer in. And I've got my answers in here. Now, because I've selected a quiz as opposed to just a form, then it is allowing me to add the correct answer on here. So I know the correct answer is Sheffield, so that will show us the correct answer. I might want to add an option, so let's put in another one onto the quiz. And also I can allocate points to this question. So this is really good if you want a self-marking assessment using multiple choice questions and to attach weighted scores to different questions. So for this question, they'll only get 1 point for getting Sheffield right. I can choose whether in a multiple choice option, whether they can fill in multiple answers. So it might be that there are 2 or 3 correct answers, in which case you would select multiple answers, and the students could then tick several of the boxes. At present, this will only allow me to tick one of the boxes. If you want the questions to be required, so that they can't skip questions, then if you click the required box, they won't be able to move on until they've completed that question. So that is a choice as to whether you want them to skip questions or not. There are some more options in here. So you can shuffle the questions so they don't always appear in the same order for everybody. There's drop downs, there's maths options within there if you've got mathematical questions, and you can add subtitles. But you'll see at the bottom you've got add branching, and add branching allows you to make a decision as to what the student does next if they answer the question. So maybe if they got Sheffield right, you're kind of assured that they know where cities are on a map of the UK, and you might move them on to another section. So you can choose, as I build the quiz up, there'll be a list of other questions that I could move them to, or a new section. So I could move them out of cities of the UK and into another section. If they've got it wrong, I could then choose to send them to another question about cities in the UK. So using the branching options, you can create these loops. It gets a bit complicated at first because you've got to remember where you're going to divert everyone. So when I've done this, I've worked with the kind of little flow diagram in my notebook to help me remember. Okay, so we can keep adding new questions. So adding text. So this allows you to free answer. If you want it to be a long piece of text, you can select long answer. Just type your question in. Yeah, so just an instruction. And then if you want to add a picture, you click on add image. So you could add video. So if you've got a video clip that you want to put in, you can do that. You can click on the image. You've got image search through Bing. You can go to your OneDrive, or you can upload a file from your computer. So if you just if we just search UK, for example, then it will bring up a series of images, and we could just insert one of these into the question, and just click add, and it will add the image onto the side of the question. So in this way, you can build all your quiz up and keep adding points, various points. So this, because it's a longer piece of work, we might give them 5 points for this question, and we click add new. And we can keep adding questions in that way until you've finished the quiz. If you want to break your quiz up into sections, you can go into here and click add section, and you've now got a new section. So this we might move out of UK questions and into Europe. I can type a description, and now I can start adding questions into this new section. So you can set your form up in sections. You can reorientate your questions in sections. So the more questions that you've got, you'll be able to shuffle them up and down if you want to reorder them. And once you've got this set up, by sharing it, you can then get your responses. It goes live immediately, and it collects live responses. So the important thing to know about creating a new form, so this has just created a form. If I add new and add a new question, you'll see that I've not got the correct answers here, and I've not got a place for putting points in. So this is a form, and it's best used just for surveys where you're not going to score and you're not going to mark the responses in any way, or gather the effectiveness of the responses. So this is good just for surveys. Title your form. This could just be a survey, and you're away now, and that form is live as soon as you create it. There's no saving or anything. It's now in here. If you want to create a quiz, then you create new quiz. And now the new quiz, if we add a question, you'll see it's got those options. And also, I forgot to mention that you can type in a message for the respondents to see when they've answered that question. So you can actually indicate the correct answers, for example, as you go through. So this is basically forms. Again, you can take a form and you can use forms inside assignments in Microsoft Teams, or you can just create other documents like Class Notebook and put a link to the form on the Class Notebook page, and then students can go straight into the quiz. or the assessment directly from their class notebook. So that's a really a quick tour of forms. And so what we're going to do is to just take another break. I suggest about 20 minutes to let you have a look at Microsoft Forms. Again, I'll pop up on the screen the link to the Tablet Academy Wakelet, and if you want to go there and scan through the videos and things, you'll be able to do so. I'll dip out of the screen sharing just at this point. And again, if you've got any questions, put them in the chat and I'll try and answer them. Okay, so it's a quick time to play with forms.